So Musk's forceful calls for more government regulation of artificial intelligence warranted. Let me bring in Adam Thierer, a senior fellow in the technology policy program at the Mercatus Center at George Mason University. So let me get this straight. We ought to regulate something that really doesn't even exist yet. That makes so much sense.
You know, I don't think it does make a lot of sense. I think the reality is, as you suggested, is that Elon Musk has probably been watching too many Terminator movies. You know, it's always good to think about the dangers that new technologies might pose, but engaging in this sort of like Chicken Little talk or techno-panic speak like Elon Musk is doing is really quite unwarranted in this case. Artificial intelligence is already all around us and benefiting us in many ways every day in the United States, and that's only going to continue. It's going to continue to improve our lives in a wide variety of ways.
Well, Adam, what is he up to then? I always think of that question, somebody who has benefited from, quite frankly, a lack of regulation, a lack of government intervention into, he benefits from essentially helping take over our space program. What is he up to that he's calling for regulation?
Well, look, I don't want to guess as to motives here. I think it very well could be the case that Mr. Musk has very serious concerns about artificial intelligence. I just think a lot of them are probably driven by perceptions that have been put into our minds by science fiction and by a lot of the sort of worst-case thinking that often surrounds new emerging technologies. But the problem with allowing worst-case thinking to come to be the basis of public policy is that it means many best-case scenarios will never come about if all we're worried about is those worst-case scenarios.
Or you have some big-money billionaire entrepreneur who wants to get their hands in making the sausage, if you will, because if they help craft the regulations, they can craft rules and regs that benefit their businesses and hurt competitors potentially. I always think about it like that.
Yeah, well, and that's very valid. I think there's always a concern that there could be some sort of so-called regulatory capture or special interest influence whenever companies are trying to influence public policy. In this case, I think it may be a heartfelt concern on his part, but the reality is that he himself identified in the very same speech to those governors this weekend all the potential dangers of sort of well-intentioned preemptive regulation, sort of backfiring on us because we can't anticipate the future perfectly, and the reality is once these laws get in place, they seem to never get off the books. They're sort of like zombies that just never die. So he's pointed out himself the problems with the very regime that he's proposing.
Like old-school zombies, too, not like the new kind of like techno-artificial intelligence zombies like in Westworld. Like some George Romero zombies. That's what I'm talking about. Adam, it was great to see you. Adam Thierer, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.